In the depths of history lies an unsolved puzzle, the mystery of the princes in the tower. Journey with us through centuries past, where the fate of two young royals remains a haunting enigma. Prepare to unlock the secrets of their disappearance and discover the truth behind this enduring legend. Welcome to history's most chilling mystery. For more than 400 years, audiences have been intrigued by William Shakespeare's portrayal of King Richard III as a charismatic, deformed, and treacherous usurper of England's throne. The homicide of Richard's nephews, the delicate angels, supporting each other inside their alabaster, blameless arms, so the imperial bad guy could snatch the crown, is stunning stuff. However, would we say we are seeing notable reality, sensational permit or review Tudor publicity to ruin Lord Richard. 5 centuries after the mysterious disappearance of the two boys known as the Princes in the Tower, a jury in a TV trial in 1984 concluded that the evidence did not support a conviction for Richard's murder of his nephews. At the Richard III Museum in York, you can even join a jury and make your own decision because of the mystery surrounding the prince's fate. The substance of the story is notable. Lord Edward IV kicks the bucket out of the blue in April 1483, passing on his 12-year-old child Edward to acquire the privileged position. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, the late king's brother, takes over as protector of England and confines Edward and Richard, Duke of York, his 9-year-old brother, in the Tower of London. Occasions move quick. Before the year is out, Edward V and his sibling have been announced ill-conceived. Edward is ousted and the two of them disappear, and the Duke of Gloucester is delegated ruler Richard III. Richard dies at the Battle of Bosworth 2 years later, and Henry Tudor, the victor, is crowned King Henry VII. Accordingly closes the fierce period of dynastic debate known as the Conflicts of the Roses and the earth-shattering Tudor Age first lights. The destiny of the rulers has separated assessment for quite a long time. Mainstream thinking is that they were killed, weather-covered, secured in a room and left to starve, harmed or even suffocated in wine. Speculations range from sensible to whimsical. Richard III, his partner the Duke of Buckingham, his colleagues, and even Henry VII have all differently stood blamed for doing the wrongdoing. Sectarian Tudor journalists, including those that gave Shakespeare his source material, were unequivocal that Richard was mindful. He is depicted in paintings with a hunchback, his physical malformation being an outward sign of his wickedness. However, no contemporary reports mention him appearing this way. The Richard III Society, starting in 1924, plans to advance examination into the life and seasons of the much-censured ruler and to get a reassessment of the material connecting with the period. According to President, Antiquarian and Creator Peter Hammond, the general public has no authority view on the demise of the rulers, however would bring up that there is no proof that they were as a matter of fact killed by any means. They were known to have been in the pinnacle of London in the pre-fall of 1483, and no reports of them are being seen after that. The ramifications normally drawn is that they were killed, yet that doesn't be guaranteed to follow. They might have been moved somewhere else. To be sure, following the ruler's vanishing, it was now and again reputed they had been lively to somewhere safe in the open country or abroad, well into the rule of Henry VII. Figures would arise professing to be one or other of the siblings. In his spare time, a humble bricklayer at Eastwell Park in Kent around 1530 surprised everyone by reading Latin. Some murmured he was Richard, Duke of York. We should step right back to the start of the adventure in April 1483 and follow the path of occasions. When young Edward learned of his father's death, he was living at Ludlow Castle in Shropshire. As the new King Edward V, he set out for London with an escort that included his maternal uncle, Earl Rivers. Edward's fatherly uncle, the Duke of Gloucester, was at his northern fortification of Middleham Palace, Yorkshire, and rushed south to expect the job of defender of the domain. On the manner in which he and his partner, the Duke of Buckingham, captured the illustrious party and captured waterways, Edward's stepbrother Sir Richard Dim and 2 others. Did Gloucester as of now have plans on the crown? Or on the other hand, did he essentially need control of the Kid Lord, dreading plans by the sovereign's family and their group in London to make Edward their mannequin? Before very long, Richard would effectively sideline his adversaries, having Waterways and Dim executed at Pontefract Palace for affirmed plotting against him. So, Richard accompanied Edward to the capital. Sir Thomas More, later railing against oppression, in his 16th century History of Ruler Richard III, says Edward sobbed and was nothing happy at what had occurred. Following custom, the youthful ruler held up in extravagant condos at the pinnacle of London, while anticipating his crowning ritual, initially set for 4th of May, then, at that point, 24 June, then 22nd of June, then deferred endlessly. In the meantime, Gloucester, caught up with controlling the chamber, called to conclude plans for the crowning ordinance and government, while Edward was a minor, was formally named Defender and Protector of the Domain. He additionally pushed the sovereign, who had looked for safe haven in Westminster Convent, to give Richard over to join his sibling Edward in the pinnacle. John Russell, diocesan of Lincoln, lets us know that Edward had a delicate mind and ready getting it, far passing the idea of his childhood. While French recorder Jean Molinet said York was happy and clever and at any point prepared for moves and games. The siblings were seen playing in the nursery at the pinnacle. However, after 16 June, Edward V and York were removed to inward lofts. Edward Mancini, a priest in the company of the French representative to Britain, revealed step by step started to be seen all the more seldom behind the bars and windows. They are believed to have been kept in the White Tower. Unexpectedly, it was declared that Edward IV had been in a pre-agreement of marriage before he wedded the sovereign's mom, Elizabeth Woodville, and the young men were ill-conceived. No proof was created except for a gathering of rulers, and Centre dismissed Edward V on 25th June. The following day, Gloucester became Lord Richard III. Richard demonstrated a productive and competent ruler. However, the way that the sovereigns were at no point ever seen freely in the future, and the broad conviction that he had discarded them, darkened his standing. Indeed, even in those merciless times, murder of kids was viewed as surprising. Numerous journalists introduced Richard's demise at Bosworth in 1485 as a fitting comeuppance. In any case, enduring vulnerability over the destiny of the sovereigns permitted actors to the privileged position to arise occasionally all through the rule of Henry VII, most remarkably Lambert Simnel and Perkin Warbeck, both suspected to be the tragically missing Duke of York. In 1502, Sir James Tyrrell, while being held in the pinnacle for conspiracy, admitted that he had covered the rulers on the request for Richard III. Sir Thomas, all the more later, composed a chilling reinstitution of the supposed scene when Tyrrell's associates entered the ruler's bedchamber at 12 p.m. and so bewrapped and trapped them, holding somewhere around forced the quill bed and cushions hard into their mouths. All the more additionally said that the bodies were covered at the step-foot, meetly profound under the ground, and that the homicide occurred on 15th of August 1483. It was, according to modern historian Alison Weir, September 3rd. In 1674, workers found 2 skeletons at the foundation of the flight of stairs to the sanctuary in the White Pinnacle. The remains were determined to be those of the princes after investigations by the royal surgeon and selected antiquarians, and King Charles II had them reburied in Westminster Abbey in an urn. In 1933, the skeletons were re-evaluated, utilizing more present-day logical methods, and, while discoveries are not viewed as decisive, they are by and large thought reliable, with 2 offspring of the periods of the rulers. Bones, conditional proof, reports and bits of hearsay paint a strong and ridiculous story, yet secret actually covers the full truth.